Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Yom Tov, Shabbos Sukkos, V'samachta b'chagecha. So just to share a word, we spoke about in years past, but to emphasize a different point. The Rebbe speaks about Simchas Beis Shoeva, when we draw the waters, that it says, we see on Yom Kippur, whoever didn't see the simcha, the joy that they had in the Beis HaMikdash when they draw the water to pour the next morning on the Mizbeach, on the altar, hasn't seen any joy, simcha in their life. The Rebbe asks, why do we have to talk the negative? Why do we have to say Mishalayra, whoever didn't see that? Just say, if you saw the joy of drawing the water, then you saw joy, you saw simcha. The Rebbe says a very powerful message, that we know that Yonah ben Amittai, the prophet, he was able to draw prophecy from the joy of the Simchas Beis Shoeva. The idea of the Simcha Beis Shoeva is that we know that based on the teaching of the Alter Rebbe, that the difference between pouring the wine and pouring the water, that pouring the water on the Mizbeach represents bittul, self-nullification, that a person has Kabbalah soul, accepting the yoke. Water has less taste, doesn't have a flavor like wine. We pour wine the whole year on the Mizbeach, on the altar. Come Sukkos, and we have Simcha. The Simcha is connected with Kabbalah, the Avodah Hashem of Kabbalah soul, accepting the yoke. And this is why we say, whoever didn't see, if you're not paying attention, if you're not looking at joy in a way that you could find joy even when you're not understanding why you have to serve Hashem. It's not based on logic. Wine represents understanding, Yena Shal Torah, the depth of Torah, the understanding, the flavor of Torah. Water represents that it has no taste. But you serve Hashem based out of Kabbalah soul because you're a servant of God. And if you can't find the joy in that, then you've never seen any joy. If you can't find joy in serving Hashem for the sake of serving Hashem, you don't know what joy is. You don't know what simcha is. And that's what the Mishnah is telling us. And the point is over here that when it comes to Kabbalah soul, a person has to reach the highest level of simcha, because you know that I'm a servant of God. And something even more amazing, it says Mishalei Ro, whoever hasn't seen. What does it mean to see something? We spoke many times. Seeing is a higher level of understanding, or of connection, than hearing and understanding. When you see something, it's absolute. When a person ain't aid nasadayin, like the Rebbe says, a person it brings down from the Gemara, a person who witnesses something can't judge something because you're not partial, you saw it, it's absolute. But like we learned in the Maimer Vatad in Savim, the Rebbe's last Maimer, final Maimer, there's even a deeper concept, and that's the concept of Mesiras Nefesh. That not I'm connected to Hashem because I see godliness. I'm connected to Hashem because that's who I am. Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice, reveals the essence of a Jew. And this is connected to the Vart we've spoken about before, that the first place in the Torah that we find mentioned the idea of drawing of the water is the story of King David, that David HaMelech was outside of the city Beit Lechem that was conquered by the Philistines in the time of Saul, King Shaul. And he wanted to have water from the Be'er Mayim Chaim, from the source of water, from the source of where he came from, the city of Beit Lechem. David's from Beit Lechem, and he said, who's going to break into the city to bring me water? And some of his soldiers broke in, didn't conquer the city, they snuck in and snuck out. And when David HaMelech saw that the Mesiras Nefesh that they had for getting the water, it says he poured the water for Hashem. And the Gemara Yishalmi says, what does it mean he poured the water for Hashem? It was the Yom Tif of Sukkos, and he did Nisach HaMayim. So we find, this is the first time in the Torah we find the idea of Nisach HaMayim. And not only that we see that he did it is connected with Mesiras Nefesh. David said, if they did self-sacrifice to get this water, so I have to pour it for Hashem. And the idea is that when a person gets in touch with their self-sacrifice, to go in and reach deep into the Be'er Mayim Chaim, into their well of fresh water, of live water, the source of who they are, which is the Mesiras Nefesh, the self-sacrifice, the absolute connection they have to Hashem. It's not about having a personal mission, a personal drive, a personal experience. You pour it to God, you say, how could I apply the fact that I'm a Yid, the fact that I have an absolute connection to God, how could I integrate that in my day-to-day life? And like the Rebbe says, finishes off, then a person's drive, motivation in life for everything is how they could serve Hashem. And Hashem gives us the tools to serve Him in the way of simcha, through blessing us with children and parnas barchava, muflaga, and with long life and health, and we'll be able to have the true simcha of the coming of Mashiach Meher B'meinu this Sukkos.